Hey, and welcome to another episode of Audio Scrawl. I'm Kang.
This is Brandon.
And E3 is officially over. So, what did you think of E3, Brandon?
It's good.
Yeah, it's definitely good. There's a couple lulls, especially towards the beginning, but overall it ended on a pretty high note.
It's not a terrible E3. I think after last year's, it feels like, yeah, especially Sony's press conference, it's going to be hard to top that.
Nothing's going to top that for a while.
Yeah, that's okay. I accepted that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but overall, it's still really good. We'll just break it down, and give us our thoughts on each conference that happened. The first one technically not really was EA. EA was the first one. They did it the day before E3 launched, and they didn't need to be there, to be honest. In my opinion, they broke away from E3, and they were going to do their own press conference. Have a huge Battlefield 1 event afterwards. So like, okay, cool. They're out of E3. They can do whatever they want. So whatever they want, And they came out and they didn't show all that much. Yeah. Of course, they opened up with Titanfall 2, which looks really good. So multiplayer announced a single player coming to all current gen PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went into I believe they went to sports afterwards. New Madden, new FIFA, story mode.
It's the sports kind of a waste of time because we all know they're coming anyway.
Let's see. The Mass Effect Andromeda reel was disappointing.
Yeah, not what I was hoping to see.
Yeah.
I think I would have been fine for like a little bit of like a gameplay trailer or a demo. I could care less about any kind of I don't want a story trailer. I don't want a CG trailer. I'm not interested in those. I'd like to see, the idea of what the game's going to look like for PlayStation 4 and probably for Xbox One as well.
Yeah, rumor is supposed to come out early 2017, and here they are. They're not really showing the game off. Hey, we understand it. We know what Mass Effect is. Don't talk down to us. Instead, they're like, hey, here's all these developers talking how great Mass Effect's going to be, how we've listened and. Don't show that. I don't care.
But didn't they show something like that last year?
They did show something like that last year.
So why do it again this year?
Exactly.
If you don't have anything new to show, don't bother showing it. Focus all that resource on getting that game done.
Yeah. Or,
getting better trailers ready.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so gameplay. A minute and a half gameplay trailer would have been better than this. What is it? This 5-minute developer talking about this game is going to be great. We
already know that. Yeah. We enjoyed Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. We like 2 the most. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. And then something interesting that came out of EA is they're opening their own EA indie pub. Pretty much, they're going to fund indie games.
Yeah. Doesn't that it has a lot to do with Unravel, isn't it?
Yeah, Unravel started
trying to do more.
Mm-hmm. And of course their new indie game is Fee. So a world, playing a little creature. I guess everything has voices. Has a language. Every monster is open world ish. I guess from the trailer that I saw, or open area, and each try to figure out, I guess, puzzle elements using sound. And of course, Star Wars was super disappointing. They didn't need to. Yeah, EA did not need a press conference. They didn't need to be there.
I'm done with Star Wars. There was no campaign to begin with for Battlefront, so I could care less about the game.
Mm-hmm. And then the thing is that they come out with, it's Star Wars time. T-minus 5 minutes until Star Wars. And then 10 minutes later, they finally show off the Star Wars presentation. And it's the same thing as the Mass Effect, presentation. There's maybe 10-second total of gameplay clips throughout the entire video reel of developers talking hey, this Star Wars game is going to be amazing. We've been working on this Star Wars game. Once again, don't talk, just show us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They showed the trailer for Battlefield 1. I saw that one, and I've been hearing about Battlefield 1, how it's World War 1, and I'm a little bit like fuzzy about it, not sure what to think about it. Then I saw the trailer, and I have to admit, it actually catches my interest. Looks pretty good. Looks heavy on the destruction really and battles, and it makes World War 1 seem like it looks pretty exciting. Yeah, it looks like an enjoyable game. I liked what they showed.
Yeah, and Battlefield 1 does look great. I'm interested in it. But then that was all of their press conference, pretty much right there. Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1 and sports were the only games they needed to show off. With that said, they could have just handed their games off to Microsoft or Sony's conference, like Microsoft did show Battlefield 1,
Yeah.
Give Star Wars to, Sony, give Titanfall 2 to one of Microsoft or Sony's slots. Like, they did not, take my EA out, and it would have still been the same E3.
I am rooting for Titanfall 2, because it's kind of a game that I feel like has potential. Because I think, you and I, liking anime and liking mechas, I like mechas, and it seemed, from what I've seen of the first game, it seemed like it had the right ideas. But then the problem of it is that it's an online game, which not exactly for me. I would have liked a campaign story mode.
Yeah. Again, that's about wraps it up for EA. Moving on to Bethesda, which happened a little bit later after EA. They opened up with Quake Champions, which is a surprising announcement, to be honest. They popped up like a command prompt, / execute Quake, and it was kind of hype how they did it, and because they revived Doom and made it awesome, so them reviving an old IP again, Quake, calling it Quake Champions, is kind of exciting again.
Now, you know how I feel about like games being like multiplayer online only and not having a campaign story. Quake Arena, it's definitely an exception because it was like the earlier games that did pioneer having online multiplayer and battles. So, that sounds great.
Okay. Oh, let's see. After that is more Fallout 4 DLC. You could customize more of your settlement. Yeah, same. I mean, let's see. Right after that, Skyrim Special Edition coming to all actually PS4, Xbox, and PC again. It looks better.
Yeah,
they definitely overhauled the textures, the lighting system.
Well, might be a good game for me to jump into, but we'll see because lately it's hard for me to have time to play video games, and that's such a lengthy, big title,
a huge game.
Yeah.
Not to mention, of course, it's also coming out with mod supports for consoles, but they should not have priced it at $60. That's too much, in my opinion. Every remaster has been $40 so far, so and that usually comes with multiple games, Okay, right after that, a almost surprise announcement of Prey, not a sequel, I guess, to Prey. It's not Prey 2. It's I guess a remake, a reboot of the series.
I think reboot's more appropriate. I mean, I didn't see the trailer. You mentioned Prey to me before, and I know of Prey, and if it's a reboot, I mean, is it? Or we can't say remake, but does it deal with like Native American settlements or anything like that?
No, not from the trailer, anyways. The trailer is kind of almost a look into this one guy's psyche because he starts to the guy wakes up, grabs a cup of coffee, looks at his time, grabs his business suits and stuff like, hey, good morning, so and so, and today's date is so and so, blah 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 blah, and then he does his day. Opens the door, wakes up again. It's the same day. He's going through the same routine. Cup of coffee, blah blah blah, and it repeats like 2 more times. And then it starts showing gameplay. Like, oh, this could be almost like a thriller, like sci-fi thriller.
Yeah.
Delving into the guy's psyche.
The first game was pretty dark the way it started off.
Mm-hmm. But then the thing is that this game is so far not related to Prey. It might as well why call it Prey? You know, you might as well just make it a new IP.
Because, Kang, how are they going to sell this game if they don't call it Prey?
But Prey wasn't an established IP though. It was almost like it was kind of like a mediocre IP, you know.
Yeah.
Back then.
Oh yeah. Whatever. I mean, I think that's a shame. You know, they could have continued from the first game. I think it probably has its own fair amount of following.
Yeah, but it definitely looks interesting. I'm definitely having my eye on it, so hopefully it turns out good. Of course, let's see. Right after that, let's see. Doom DLC. Unfortunately, none single player DLC. It's all for the multiplayer.
Yeah.
And level editor, which is awesome. But pretty cool, pretty standard. And then ending with Dishonored 2. Of course, you play as the... Oh, well, I can't remember her name. Well, you play as the female, the little girl back in the first game. She's grown up, and you have, of course, two characters. You can play as her, or I guess almost her bodyguard. So still pretty cool, pretty Dishonored from the gameplay trailer.
Yeah,
a lot of unique abilities to kill your opponents with. Overall, pretty good conference. Yeah, I did like Bethesda a lot.
They think they're on the right track. Ooh, can't talk right now. But yeah, I like what they're doing. They're doing pretty good. Didn't they announce a new South Park game?
That was Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft. Oops.
Yeah.
Not yet.
They did announce. Well, they revealed more of it because they announced it last year.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. A day passes and Microsoft starts the next day. And they started off, unfortunately, if you were on any gaming websites, like the day before the conference, there was a lot of Microsoft leaks.
Yeah.
That got out. So this tempered the conference a little. But they opened up and confirmed the Xbox One S, the slim model.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is real. It's going to play 4K movies, have HDR compatibility for TVs that does have it. That's going to be for $300, and it's 40% smaller than the original Xbox.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah,
cool. I'm still not interested in getting one yet.
Well, it's interesting that they announced it because afterwards we'll get into it a little bit.
Oh yeah,
but for games they open up with Gears 4, which looks like a Gears game. It's Gears 4. If you want more Gears of War, this is more Gears of War.
I think it needs to be out. There needs to be a Gears of War this year. That needs to be Microsoft's thing. We got Halo 5. That's done. What else is there to look forward to for Microsoft? Well, this is the game. Yep.
Of course, showing off more third-party Battlefield 1, which we saw at EA already. Forza Horizon 3 it is looking really good. Set in Australia, of course, completely going more off the insane route, just completely open world with Forza Horizon. Then they showed off more of Keiji Inafune's game, Recore.
What do you think of that game?
It looked janky. Like almost like a low budget or like mid budget, but the concept is interesting because you have this core, and I guess depending on the pieces you put it into, it'll create a different assistant, up to 4 different assistants, I guess, from the trailer. One's a dog, one's a little spider thing that you could hook shot to and use it for traversal. One's like a giant golem.
That studio concept really worries me.
No, it's not concept.
Oh, it's not concept.
No, it's okay. It's made by a team that's who did the Metroid series, the Metroid Prime
Retro
series.
Studios?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ex-Retro employees.
Right, because Retro Studio, I mean, they're still around, but, I understand that there are people, core members who have left Retro Studios.
Yeah, it's being made by that studio. So.
Okay, interesting.
So, yeah, it definitely has potential, It has a lot of potential. Inafune and Retro, pretty much. Let's see. Then they start off a pretty bad demo of Final Fantasy 15 where they're fighting a Colossus. And geez, they should have planned this better because it was pretty bad. It made the game look pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Like just having, yeah, I guess it's just a bad way to show off them fighting like a really giant character, like a giant enemy, pretty much.
Yeah.
Of course, a new character for Killer Instinct, General Ram from, like, who is he? I don't know. Some guy from Gears of War. Apparently, the first one. A couple indie games Inside, which looks fantastic. We Happy Few. The trailer looks pretty interesting, but I was kind of disappointed when I actually found out what the gameplay actually was. Let's see, and then they announced Gwent, the card game from the Witcher 3 series, which I thought this was a kind of a weird announcement. Like, it's a side game. I guess it's popular enough that they turn it into a full blown game. Like,
yeah, I prefer Triple Triad from Final Fantasy VIII.
Isn't that kind of what it is? You know, if Square Enix came out, oh, here's Triple Triad, and it's on a Microsoft and Sony press conference, like that would be weird.
Yeah.
So I just thought this was a little weird. Of course, Minecraft got announced. I believe PC players are now able to play with Xbox One players, so that's pretty interesting. It's moving forward.
Yeah.
Let's see. Showing off Tekken 7, of course. More story mode with Akuma.
Yeah, they like to show off Akuma or Goki, but we'll stick with Akuma here. And they're showing him off. He seems to have a pretty big role in the story mode, or maybe that's just his story mode.
It's canon.
Yeah,
it's Tekken 7 lore. Yeah,
you might as well. I mean, I can accept that Street Fighter and Tekken can be like in the same world and the same lore. It's just, well, Tekken happens to go through time. The time gap between Tekken 2 and 3 is huge. So I can't exactly establish Street Fighter timeline with Tekken.
Yeah.
Unless you just want to accept that maybe they, like comic books, they don't age.
Yeah. But then, once again, video game stories.
No, I like that. That's cool.
Game.
And maybe it's a good way to kind of like help transition into the Tekken Cross Street Fighter fighting game.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it gives them a chance to play around with the mechanics of it. Because I'm certain they don't want to repeat what happened to Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah.
Could be considered a controversial type of game. And I look forward to Tekken 7. Looks pretty good. And hopefully it helps build up on Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my excitement for this game has kind of tempered off because it was announced, back in 2014?
Yeah.
And it's been in arcades for all this year, and we still haven't even been able to play it. It feels like I know so much about the game that I don't care anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's tricky though, because you got some games that still works in they come out in arcades first before coming out on console, but they really need to shorten the gap between the release of arcade and home console.
Yeah, they really do.
Okay, what's next?
All right, of course, a new Dead Rising 4, starring Frank West again. Going back to Frank West.
I like the trailer. I like what they showed.
I like what they showed in the trailer at the Microsoft press conference was kind of terrible. Because, and I hate when any conference does this, be it Microsoft or Sony or EA, Ubisoft, they cut away and show the audience or show the stage, and of course, for the Dead Rising 4 trailer, they cut away so the audience to show that it was snowing in the theater. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Go back to full screen.
We don't need to know about people, like the audience and their experience. I mean, the E3, the people who are attending E3 it's for press. And press delivers the message to the audience, which is us. And we are the viewer of it on E3. We're not going through the experience that the reporters are going through, and why would the reporters care?
Uh-huh.
They're there to get all the information and get the experience, but they don't need that much experience. They don't need that much. They don't need snow. They don't need any environment changes for the trailers.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just kills the whole point of E3.
But the trailer itself is really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Sonic Request, new weapons, of course, new crazy contraptions, new vehicles, a lot more zombies. It looks very polished compared to Dead Rising 3.
I like the franchise. I think it's a pretty good series, so I'm looking forward to what they're gonna do with the new game. I can't. It's a tricky franchise too because you have there are issues with those games, but then in some ways that's kind of what makes those games work as well. So it's hard to figure out. I don't know if I'm gonna say, yeah, I want them to fix the problems, but then there are some problems where it feels like that's part of the game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And surprisingly, this game is not exclusive. It's coming out to Xbox and, of course, Windows 10 first. And I believe 30 or 60 days, it's coming out to Steam. And then 1 year after, it'll come out to PS4. Which is why Microsoft, are you paying Capcom, paying third parties to stay exclusive for 1 year? You might as well just make it exclusive at that point,
Yeah. Or don't do it at all.
Yeah. Scalebound showed off multiplayer gameplay against a giant boss. It was pretty disappointing. The gameplay felt really lacking, and the main character just had a really punchable face, in my opinion. Holy cow! Yeah, the demo wasn't good. What they showed off at the Microsoft press conference wasn't good. I'm like, oh, that looks not fun and janky. But here's hoping, it's not coming out till next year. Of course, after that they showed off their pirate MMO, Sea of Thieves, which actually looks pretty interesting, pretty entertaining. You and your friends just, you're pirates, you get a boat, you're a crew, you just do whatever you want. Even play in a band.
Does sound pretty good.
Sing songs.
It'd be fun to get a good pirate experience video game.
Mm-hmm. Of course, State of Decay 2, another open world zombie game, and Halo Wars 2. The RTS game, the Halo RTS game.
All right.
So overall, not a bad conference. They paced themselves pretty well. Actually, no. At the very end of Microsoft's conference, they confirmed and announced the Xbox Project Scorpio is real. And it's coming out fall of 2017. Which now gives the reason, why would you buy an Xbox S if the new console is going to come out, right?
Yeah.
Also, another thing they announced, actually, this is kind of big, is all of their first-party titles are... Well, they call it Play Anywhere, so that just means as long as you buy the digital title on the Xbox One, the Xbox One version, you'll receive the digital title for the PC, the Windows 10 version for free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's alright.
Alright.
Yeah, and I'm still kind of stuck on that Scorpio and these new consoles, and yeah, that's getting really tricky.
Mm-hmm.
How can you sell your current console when there's going to be a new one coming out soon?
And how can you sell your new one when you just saved me money with of upgrading my PC instead of buying an Xbox Scorpio because now all your games are coming to PC?
I think you and I don't really have too much of a problem with these new consoles because I think my mindset for the PlayStation 4 is we got it when it launched. It's a decent price compared to when the PlayStation 3 launched. It's pretty good. And we went all out on the console. We played all the games. We made so much use out of it. I mean, it still has life in it. But I think you and I are okay about if they came out with a Neo. We're all right about upgrading to that console. But that's what's tricky is the people who didn't get a chance to get the console when they launch. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem right there. It seems like the solution is you have to get these consoles when they launch, but you kind of have to give them a life cycle. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the PS4 it's still I feel like it's still growing, it's still getting up there. It's not at its peak.
No, of course not. Considering all the games they announced. Well, moving on, before Sony's was Ubisoft's. And they, in my opinion, was pretty good. A little too long. Cut off maybe 45 minutes from the press conference, and you got a really solid press conference. Open up with Just Dance 2017. It was kind of cringy, but they confirmed Just Dance to be on every platform. PS4, Xbox, PC, and of course the first title confirmed for the NX. For it was Just Dance. Open up some more gameplay of Ghost Recon Wildlands. This is their open world drug cartel multiplayer teamwork. Mission based game.
Yeah, I find the Ghost Recon or many of those Tom Clancy game. They're kind of bland to me. They never stand out, which is a shame. I mean, I'm not against them. I think Splinter Cell is probably like the best Tom Clancy series games, but the others like Ghost Recon or Rainbow Six, I could care less.
Yeah, and then of course, so enough more of a game they announced last year. South Park: The Fractured But Whole. It is now.
It makes me chuckle every time I hear that title, and you look at the spelling of it too. It's like, okay, and then when you say it out loud, you're like, oh,
they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Of course, Trey and Matt came out on stage, and they demoed the game. It's a superhero-based game this time, and they're parroting. They're going off the Marvel Cinematic, pretty much the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because Eric Cartman and his friend, the kids of South Park, wants to create movies, and from the disagreements with how the movie wants to be made, the fractured happens with their friends, and yeah, it was great. The gameplay demos was fantastic to watch.
Yep. All right, and then after that,
the Division DLC, which is like, all right, whatever. Moving on. They got Eagle Flight. They start off the Eagle Flight VR game with the creators of the Oculus. It was too long. Like, the game looked fine, but it was too long. Star Trek: The Bridge Crew this was huge. This was kind of surprising to me because I'm kind of a Star Trek fan myself. And for VR, it's a team-based VR game. One person plays the captain, one person controls the shield, one person controls the steering wheel, the flight, and you're trying to give direction, like, hey, lower the shields, fire the missiles, while trying not to, die yourself, while being attacked from like Klingons and stuff.
So basically, the Kobayashi Maru simulator there.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, remember that cell phone game that was similar like that? We played it before. I can't remember the name of it. Oh man, I can't remember, but it was exactly like that, but like in VR and Star Trek.
Hey, I'm just saying that here's a chance to do Kobayashi Maru.
Yep.
Give them the no-win scenario. Wouldn't that be crazy if they do a Kobayashi Maru simulator for the VR and maybe the solution is actually like tweak the game or something?
Yeah.
But we'll see. Anyway.
Now moving on. For Honor looked really good. Apparently you're in a never-ending war with samurais, Vikings, and
it's like every culture's a swordsman against each other, and that's what I dig about the game. I don't know if they're set at the same time period, but I think you're supposed to get like the swordsman or the warrior of certain eras of certain countries.
Yeah, and the game looked good. Like, there was weight to the swinging mechanics. Like, holy cow. Looked great. I'm excited. Moving on. Trials of the Blood Dragon.
That one, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. They messed Trials and Blood Dragon, pretty much. That's it. The mashup. And it looked awesome.
It's 80s awesomeness, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, they have an 80s TV commercial for that. Same kind of energy, too. And checking out the gameplay of it. I mean, it's a Trials game, but much more zany, and I might be interested in getting into that game.
Yeah. And it's definitely just a Trials game, so... Yeah. And then the sequel to Grow Home, Grow Up. More robots, more plant... more roots growing up. Okay, and then, of course, unfortunately, this was leaked or revealed the day before. Watch Dogs 2. And I'm liking what I'm seeing. Like I said, with the first game, they definitely built a solid foundation. And Watch Dogs 2, it sounds like they've taken note from all the criticism and building a more solid game. So I'm excited.
I think Ubisoft does pretty good with that too. I mean, they showed it with the Assassin's Creed games. Comparing like the first game to the second game, they really improved a lot.
Oh yeah.
They sometimes they have missteps, and then the following game they fix all the issues.
Yep, and then they ended with a new IP called Steep, which is an open world ish, because you are just going downhill. Open world skiing, snowboarding, paragliding. What's that one word where you can just go downhill really quick where you fly down without a parachute? Paratrooping?
Yeah, something like that. Paragliding. I know.
I think I already said that.
Yeah. That's where my mind goes to. Oh well.
Yeah, but it looks interesting. Like, all right, cool. If you're into those kind of sports.
Yeah. All right. Anything else from Ubisoft? Any kind of like highlights? Anything that you noticed like caught your attention? Like the small things. Sometimes I wonder if you catch on like the best or the worst stuff.
Isa Tyler.
Oh, that's like the best part.
Yeah, she's still a really good judge. Yeah, or not judge, a really good host.
Yeah, a good host, like someone that comes up there and speaks for the company. There's like weird controversies about her. People saying like she's not a gamer, but she's like a casual gamer, but she has knowledge of games. But I think she does a great job presenting.
She does a really good job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she knows her stuff, and if she doesn't, I mean, dude, she does a great job. Companies need people like that.
It's definitely better than Mr. Caffeine, if you remember him.
I remember him.
Okay, and then ending the day in a very strong note, in my opinion, was Sony's conference. And holy cow, yeah, it was back-to-back non-stop
I still
trailers.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some lulls, but the lulls aren't too bad.
There was like no lulls.
Yeah.
Even the lulls only lasted like a minute.
I mean, I'll tell you what the lulls are, but I mean, but it's not a bad thing. These lulls are still something like, yeah, I'd like to try that game.
Yeah, opening the conference, they had a live orchestra playing a brand new God of War song that no one's heard of before, and then the curtain rises.
Did you like that blonde lady?
Yeah,
that blonde lady. She was like
part.
into it. The camera come up to her, and you just see her. She's just like 100%
making all these weird noises.
And she looked. She's kind of like giving off like some kind of sensual air about her or something like that. She was just so into it. It's kind of like, all right.
Yeah. Sony definitely rented out this huge theater. And so the curtain rises and no talking, straight into live gameplay of God of War 4. Or just God of War.
Everyone is applauding. That's right, Ascension. But when you see Kratos, everyone's just applauding. I mean, there he is, Kratos with a beard.
Yeah, an old Kratos with a beard.
Yeah,
and the game looks fantastic. Holy cow! Over the back view.
They're changing it up. I like that. It definitely looks heavy on the combat, but I feel like, I mean, it's time to evolve. It's time to do something new and different with God of War.
Yeah, they made me care for a God of War game again. Like, because Kratos was a one-note character.
Yeah,
and now here, this 5 minute demo, 6 minute demo. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's like presenting the best part of Kratos here, because you see him with the boy, and I mean, I think people are saying it's his son.
I don't know. I believe
they're
not blood related. I don't think it's his,
but
legitimate son.
That's kind of like the best element of Kratos. The one thing that's not one or two dimension about the character is he's good with kids. Like he doesn't hate on kids or anything like that, because he once had a daughter, and he's guilted for being the one that, spoilers, but guilted that he killed his family, and so he seems to have like a soft spot for kids, and it looked really good too.
Yeah, and then what's his name? Oh my god, Saul Layden came out, of course, talked a little bit, then went right back into games called then the brand new Sony Bend Studios, holy cow, they've been gone for a while, announced their new IP, Days Gone. Of course, motorcycle zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
More like
they didn't really. The trailer didn't present itself as a zombie apocalypse, but it's definitely a dystopia world.
Yeah, we'll just talk about now. I guess the game.
Yeah,
the game is dystopia. Imagine like World War Z type of zombies.
Yeah,
like there's just this giant horde running at you, and he was using like the environment to slow them down.
Yeah, I thought that's pretty cool, but it looks stressful. That's what I kept thinking when I saw the gameplay video. Was this looks very stressful? I don't think I would take the time to be shooting at all the zombies. Yeah, I'd be shooting at the environment to slow them down, but mostly I'd be focused on running away from them.
Yeah,
I would not bother shooting at them.
And you don't have to, yeah. And
that's true.
And there's also multiple, ways of going throughout about that mission.
Yeah, well, The Last of Us stresses me out enough, and I love that game. That game is fun.
Yeah.
And it's a good kind of stress. But this game is just, man, that's a lot to keep track of.
The Last Guardian was shown right after that. It's very quick trailer, which is
that's
smart
fine.
thing to do.
Yeah,
it's like
don't show too much.
Yeah, here's new location, new stuff, and then right at the end, release date October 25th.
That's really what there's nothing more they can show. That's what everyone is waiting on is the date. That's perfect.
Yeah, we've seen enough. Don't show anymore. More jumping right after that. Horizon Zero Dawn gameplay, and this is them just doing a mission now. Like, hey, here's the gist.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's not a trailer. They're showing more gameplay, and oh man, what they're showing, it puts a smile on my face. It makes me want to play the game.
Yeah,
even like I can't tell. Like I'm assuming it's very open world, but it's a kind of open world I feel like I really want to immerse myself into. I really want to play it. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you see her like hacking into. What I liked is you have this map and it's a very big world, and you see her going after this animal creature, like kind of like a buffalo or a bull type of animal.
A robot buffalo.
Yeah, and hacks into it. It just has like animal characteristics, and she's just using it to ride and having it go against like this creature to hunt. And I thought, that's like no, the thing attacked. It attacks the girl, and it hits like the mechanic bull that she was on, and it looked like it got destroyed.
Yeah.
Like I kind of felt something there. I kind of felt bad. Like, no, not your steed. But I thought, all right, very cool. It continues on. You have to go with the flow. Like you have to go with the situation you're in. So I'm liking what they're showing. Combat looks great. It looks like it deals with like elementals as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like fire damage. Just setting up craftings in this game.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, looks good.
Yep. Can't wait for it to come out in February. And then one is a surprise game. Detroit Become Human was shown off. An android negotiator.
I've heard rumors of this game, but when I actually saw the game in action, looks pretty good to me. But then again, these guys, what's the name of the studio again?
Quantic Dreams.
Quantic Dreams, yeah. They're pretty good at presentations. I mean, I've never played Heavy Rain.
I like Heavy Rain.
Yeah, I've been told it's great. The last game,
Beyond Two Souls, wasn't as good. No.
So this one, it could go in either directions, but they seem to know how to do a good presentation.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of choices to make in this game. So like, right on. And then right after that, cut to another trailer, VR experiences. The first one, this one surprised me. This one was a huge surprise to me. It's just first-person view. Kind of looks like the PT demo, the Silent Hill demo, and guys just walking through this house exploring it. And at the very end, the trailer starts playing, and the Roman numeral 7 pops up at the end.
I had a feeling.
And then right after that, the Resident Evil logo fades in. Like, oh my goodness, it's a Resident Evil 7 game.
And it's the kind of trailer I want to see, especially for Resident Evil, because it sets the tone of what this game is going to be all about. And it looks like they're getting back to the roots of being a horror survival type of game. Is it... The demo is out. I haven't got a chance to play it. But it's available for PlayStation 4. Now, is this game VR exclusive?
No. They said it right in the conference. The game is available with VR from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So.
I like that. That's good option. And even if it was exclusive, I wouldn't be upset. I would just be nodding, thinking that this is actually what virtual reality or the VR systems need. They need high-profile exclusive games. Mm-hmm. I would have been okay if Resident Evil 7 was for like VR only. But I'm glad, in the end, I'm glad that it's not. I would like to play on the PlayStation 4, not worry about the VR.
Yeah. And I hear, the demo is just built, as an experience. It's not. I hear it's not going to be part of the main game. So,
and that's even more smart. Try to get people's reaction on it too. But I have a good feeling about this game. I think Capcom will see that a lot of people will be responding and. Saying like this is what we want.
Okay, then continuing with the VR trailers. Right after that, they announced a new IP, Farpoint, which looks like a first-person Mars, exploration shooter. It looks very good. Like Sony did a good job selling off games because so far most games I've seen for the Oculus Rift and the Vive has just been like, hey, here's these experience, here's some VR experience here's some concept of what it can do, but it's never really been games. Even though, Battlefront, right after that, Battlefront VR X-Wing mission, which sounds like just one mission for it.
Yeah, but this one intrigues me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not surprised seeing that.
Batman, and then right after that, Mark Hamill's Joker's voice came on.
Yeah, I was smiling.
They announced Batman Arkham VR. Which
I don't know.
I don't know about this. It sounds like one of those experiences, but I hear it's just gonna be like a first-person detective game. You're in detective mode, trying to solve a mystery.
So, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
No. Before that.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Before that, Final Fantasy 15 VR experience. And this one looked bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like play as Promptu.
Luckily, it's just a VR experience.
Yeah, luckily it's just a VR experience.
So I'm not gonna hold it against them.
And it was a bad presentation. I was not gonna lie. Like, oh my goodness.
I rolled my eyes. I kind of feel like what are you trying to do here, Square Enix? But if they're testing it out, trying something, you can't blame them for doing that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like it's a main official game. I just don't know what they're doing with this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a demo, trial? Are they going to do something like a main game out of this?
Is it going to be in the game? So
yeah. I mean, that's fine if it's like if it's an optional game to kind of enhance the experience and maybe get like some neat rewards out of it. Cool, do that. But I don't get it.
Yeah, it's an experiment. And then another big surprise of the Sony conference was Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I didn't think I would be surprised by this game, but the way they presented it looked like a different game.
Yes.
Because right after Final Fantasy VII, there was no title card.
No.
It just jumped right into this guy, going through a space carrier, picking a mission in space. Like, he jumps into a spaceship.
Which is funny. I kind of want to add here, if you don't mind, that I was kind of rolling my eyes at this point because I kind of felt like, all right, I feel like a lot of games are being presented this way for VR, and I'm not sure if it's VR exclusive or not, but I'm just looking at going, oh great, another space exploration type game and stuff. And it starts off that way, and I started thinking that.
Okay. Not to me. It starts off very militaristic, and then the space launches out of those, of the space carrier, and this is giant space battles going on. You're flying, you're shooting down enemy, and then all of a sudden you pop out of your spaceship and you start firing guns. I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. This looks similar to Call of Duty.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of picking up too, where I'm watching it, and it does a complete 180 because I'm thinking it's this one type of game where it's like space exploration, flying around, you're in a ship, and then combat happens, and then things start really changing. And that's when it actually starts catching my interest.
And at the very end, it turns out to be Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Yep.
Which caught off people off guard. And then right after that, they start off the remaster of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which is kind of a slap to the face.
It was.
Because the only way to get it is to buy, a premium edition of Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, the Call of Duty franchise. I mean, it's hard to go back. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do with the remaster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it.
Hey, it's a good game, so why not?
Yeah, but I feel like it's old.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no reason to go back.
No, there's always a reason to go back. Nostalgia, man. Like, why go back to Mario? Why go back to Zelda?
I'll admit that they have an amazing presentation to them. I do like their campaign modes, and I do like the levels in those games. They're very memorable.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Like, why go back and play Final Fantasy VII? Because this is still a good game. It still holds up. And then right after that, the presentation for this was kind of amazing. It would have done. Song Laydick walks out. Well, the Crash Bandicoot music started playing. The background is all Crash art style. Sean Layden walks out. His shadow is Crash Bandicoot shadow, and he's walking out on stage. And honestly, this was fantastic. It would have done Walt Disney proud. Like, holy cow! But other than that, and the crowd was going crazy. But then they're like, "Hey, I'm proud to announce, with partnership from Activision," and the crowd's exploding at this point. But then the announcer is like, "Oh, we're remastering Crash 1, 2, and 3 from the ground up for the PS4." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then with that, Crash is going to be in Skylanders, and they sold off the Skylanders trailer. And this felt like a marketing deal that had to be made,
Yeah.
Like, hey, Sony's not like, "Hey, we want Crash Bandicoot," and Activision's like, "Well, if we give it to you, you have to do this on your press conference," and that's what it felt like to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, after that, Lego Star Wars, which was a very long trailer. Like, holy cow! Like, I didn't know the movie trailer was that long.
Yeah.
And of course, right after that, they announced Andrew House, who announced Kojima was coming back.
Yep.
Kojima came down.
Oh man, the crowd loved it. And I was excited too. I was feeling kind of emotional. Like, yeah, he's back. There he is.
Yeah, he came down a walkway of light. Yeah, his entrance was pretty amazing.
It's well deserved. Everyone, the crowd, they were just excited, happy. I think everyone's just happy to have him back.
Yeah,
and, not being tossed into the gutter somewhere.
Yeah, and then of course I was surprised by this. He announced his new game.
Yep.
It's Death Stranding with Norman Reedus.
Yeah, this trailer is it's just like Phantom Pain. Or many of the games with all the trailers he would present. I think it's meant to stir discussions and rumors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sold a lot more than I thought, because I thought he was just gonna come out and say, "Hey, I'm making a game. Here's some concept art,"
Yeah.
But for him to have like the trailer that's fully in engine, he said so.
They did a good job keeping it quiet, and I like that he's working with Norman Reedus. It's a bizarre trailer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read too much into it because, well, it's Kojima. You sort of can't read too much of any of his trailers.
Yeah.
You can't take him too serious. You gotta, he's always about sparking discussions. But it makes me wonder what kind of game it's going to be because.
Action game. He said it's going to be an action game.
All right, fantastic. Then it's not. I kept wondering if it was going to be a horror game.
Yeah,
or something
like Silent
PT.
Hill. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or Silent Hill. That's good.
Yeah, and then another big surprise of the conference is Insomniac, not Sucker Punch, is making a new Spider-Man game. Exclusive to the PS4.
Yes, I mean the rumor that was coming about. I mean, I think the rumor was the fact that a second party of Sony is developing the game.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah, and we thought it was Sucker Punch, but it turns out to be
Insomniac.
And I'm not disappointed by the news either. They showed the trailer. I'm nodding my head. I'm smiling. I'm excited for the game. Because I feel like a respectable developing studios is working on a respectable property, and And I think everyone agrees that we're just hoping that this will be a good Spider-Man game. Akin to like Batman Arkham series. We just want something that's good.
Yeah. Well, definitely has potential. I mean, Insomniac is a good developer. I mean, Sunset Overdrive, the Ratchet and Clank series.
Yeah.
So
the latest Ratchet and Clank, big success.
Yeah.
So,
Not the movie though.
Yeah. Marvel. I was reading an interview with Marvel and asking them about hey, what's going on here, and they realized that they've been focusing too much on mobile games or games for smartphones, and so they want to get back into having developers. They want quality developers making quality games for home consoles, and they want Spider-Man to have nothing to do with the films, because most Spider-Man video games tends to coincide with movie releases. And I'm pleased to hear that they're being upfront, saying that we don't want this to coincide with the movie. It's its own game.
Yeah,
it's going to do it's going to have its own release date.
Yeah. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up Sony's conference. Actually, after that, there was just more gameplay of Days Gone. But yeah. So, what was your highlights? What was your disappointment and highlights? Take your takeaways and your highlights of this E3 2016.
Well, disappointment. I was hoping Nintendo would maybe have something more, but not much.
They sold off over 5 hours of Zelda.
But I don't want to know anything about 5 hours of Zelda. That's the thing. I kind of want to keep quiet about that. But I would say the disappointment is I'm getting a little bit tired of all the zombie games, like the dystopian zombie overworld games.
As with everybody.
Yeah, I'm done with it. No Red Dead Redemption announcement or anything like that.
Well, there was that rumor. It was supposed to be at the end of Sony's conference, but because of what happened in Orlando, they decided to pull it.
Sure. Because
something in that trailer was kind of like, oh, that's not cool at the moment.
Yeah, and knowing Rockstar...
And if it's true, and it makes sense for them to pull it, but then the question becomes, where do they announce it next? So.
Yeah, and Sony did, they started off with their press conference, sending out condolences to the event of Orlando, and so, yeah, very classy of them as usual. They always come out and have a pretty nice opening speech.
What was your highlights?
The highlights, I really... My highlight's got to be Spider-Man. Maybe it's not everyone else's highlight, but to me, I think I'm very intrigued at how this game is going to come out. This is the game I was waiting for to see. Is it going to be true? Are they going to be making a Spider-Man game? And I feel like a respectable studio under Sony is making it.
Right.
Resident Evil 7 is a highlight, and as well as God of War. I'm going to have to go on Sony's side for this one. How about you?
Yeah, my highlight and disappointment is the Sony conference. It's a highlight because they did everything great. Live orchestra playing throughout most of the game's trailers. Nothing but non-stop trailers, just boom, 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 boom.
There was no interruptions in those trailers.
No interruptions.
Either.
There was only 2 presenters, Song Lady and Andrew House, and Andrew House only came on for 10 seconds to announce Kojima. And then just more trailers, just back-to-back trailers, and then I'm disappointed because that's not going to happen again. People, every developer should look at Sony. It's like, this is how you do a press conference.
Yes.
No filler, all games, and I'm disappointed that it's not going to happen again. Pretty much, they're not going to do that again. No developer's going to do that. No developer's going to copy Sony's, press conference of 2016. So, but other than that, I do like most of the side games that was not in a conference, Gravity Rush 2, Persona 5, Neo looked fantastic. All the Japanese game looked fantastic, so...
Yeah, there was a plethora of games being shown off in a lot of trailers, but not so much of brand spanking new announcements, but they're showing more stuff, and that's great.
Yeah. And of course, and another disappointment was EA because they had potential. they were not an E3. They could have done so much, but then they did so little. And
they might as well be part of E3.
They might as well, just meld their games into another press conference. They had so little to show.
Yeah. And I'll admit that the only conference I watched was Sony, and that's only because I want to watch Sony. I've watched it in previous years. I've always enjoyed it. And you talking about the other press conference, I kind of feel like I'm glad I didn't watch them.
Well, Microsoft was good.
I think Microsoft would have been okay. Yeah.
Microsoft was good, and Ubisoft, if you trim like an hour off of Ubisoft, they would have been good too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what are you looking forward to the rest of the year?
I'm looking forward to, of course, Last Guardian, and then all of the Japanese games.
Yeah, same.
I'm looking at Star Ocean's coming out soon at the end of the month.
Yeah.
What is it? Dragon Quest Builders, Neo. If it comes out this year, we'll see. They haven't really announced the release date yet.
Still filling for Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15.
As well as Persona 5 for me.
But that's next year, though.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting that. Which is fine. I understand why. Mm-hmm. I mean, it could have something to do with localization, but I wouldn't take the risk of having it compete against Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah. South Park, the new South Park looks great. I'm looking forward to that.
Because I think those games are very approachable. Even if it is a sequel, I think it's a sequel where it's like, you can jump in, just play it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it for the games.
Yeah.
For the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. There's other games, but I don't really have a big list. I mean, there were a lot of games being presented on the floor and all the trailers being announced, and I just can't keep track of everything. All I can do is focus on the conference, and I enjoy what I saw. The Last Guardian, I'm excited for. I hope it meets its promise of being a game that we've been anticipating for.
Yeah. Oh, it has a lot to live up to, but just keep your expectation low.
My expectations are low. I feel like, to be fair, Ico, as well as
Shadow of
the Colossus. Now, they're cult games. They're not the greatest spectacular games. They're great. They're just good or great games. They're great experiences, and that's how you should view The Last Guardian. Something new, something different.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's not going to be of Uncharted or God of War standard.
No.
It's going to be a little bit below that. And I feel like that is the truth of it. If people are mad about what I said, I apologize, but hey, that's how I feel. If you love the game, hey, go buy it.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to help.
Well, any more news? Is that it?
That's about it, for gaming news.
Yeah, I guess that about wraps up our E3 2016 discussion.
Yep.
Tell us what you liked about E3. What was your favorite conference? What games you're looking forward to? What was your disappointment? Put it in the comments below because we would like to hear.
All right. Have a good day.